interested if there is any conflict.
You see, I have a rifle. That is to make you feel more comfortable. A lot of people are not accustomed having firearms around them.
Today, we are boarding the MS Polar Girl in Longyearbyen, the northernmost permanent settlement on Earth, yet we are heading even further north looking for a Soviet ghost town. We are looking for Pyramiden, a Russian settlement technically on Norwegian land that was abandoned overnight, and we are here to find out why.
Привет! Хорошо!
Welcome to Pyramiden.
Let's go discover something.
This is Pyramiden, once home to over 1,000 people, now only home to 6. It is overlooked by the mighty Nordenskjold Glacier. But why did the Soviets come here, and why did Russia end up leaving so quickly? Once a lawless state, Svalbard, in a bid to solve conflict between mining owners and workers, came under Norwegian sovereignty with the Svalbard Treaty in 1920. The countries who signed the treaty agreed to give full and absolute right to Norway over the islands under the conditions that the signatory citizens could live there without discrimination, that the environment was protected, and that the land would not be militarised. Today, there are 46 countries who have signed the treaty, but only the Russians and Norwegians have an active presence on the archipelago. But why settle in such an inhospitable environment such as Svalbard? As well as being home to bountiful coal, the Soviet coal companies' move to take over Pyramiden very quickly served political and strategic purposes. It was a showroom of Soviet communism that was otherwise not seen due to the Iron Curtain. It was one of 2 presences here in the high Arctic which would help with future claims to sea and land territories, as well as potential strategic shipping routes as the Arctic ice melts away.
Epic, but our guide actually worked here and he has been one of the only people to be left.
His name's Johan, and the population of Pyramiden kept declining year upon year after the Cold War, and he said goodbye to the last 17 people on the island and stayed here by himself for a whole winter. How was that? At a time when life inside the Soviet Union was largely unknown, Pyramiden was used to portray a Soviet utopia of sorts, boasting of helicopters for transport, self-sufficient farmland, and a strong community that thrived in the polar nights. They created a village that was designed to alleviate hardships that Arctic living presented, including a school, hospital, gym and swimming pool, and a culture house, making workers and their families feel at home in these high Arctic fjords. Miners, mainly from Ukraine at the time, were eager to come to make the most of good wages, free accommodation and food, allowing them to save for a better future. A carefully crafted portrayal of the very best that the mainland had to offer, conveniently on a platform for the whole world to see.
So spooky.
The canteen was the heart of the village, the place where everyone came for every meal of the day. It was decorated with lavish mosaics and even had a luscious garden in the entrance hall. In a bid to make people forget the harsh conditions outside, there was also grass indoors for kids to play as parents socialised.
I actually feel quite emotional.
Why?
The whole community built this.
No, they're not here.
And it's just falling apart.
You okay?
Despite an uncertain future for the unprofitable mine, the swimming pool and gym was the last building to be built and became a luxurious area for the workers to stay fit and throw monthly social parties. Its lavish decor and modern facilities stands as testament to the denial that the regime had about the formidable economic crash that was fast approaching.
It's crazy to think that 1,000 people uplifted their life to come and live here, and it must have been really hard because they keep talking about how they built a massive garden in the middle to make people forget they were in the Arctic. And I mean, mining is not an easy job at all, but it's the fact that they didn't actually need to be here. It was just a political move to have some sort of presence. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that changed people's lives. Kids grew up here because of just a political move.
I have never been.
As the Soviet economic crash casted a shadow of uncertainty on Pyramiden's future, the Russian company eventually realised they couldn't sustain both Pyramiden and another settlement, Barentsburg, simultaneously. With less funding came a string of mining accidents, and along with a devastating plane crash that saw the loss of 10% of Pyramiden's most knowledgeable population, it was decided that Pyramiden would close and funding would be diverted to the much more accessible Barentsburg. In 1994, miners started to be laid off, families sent home, and by 1998, the once bustling village quickly waved off the last boat of 18 miners, leaving Johan totally alone with some unwelcome visitors.
You see, I have a rifle, I have a flare gun, I have other equipment. That is for a very good reason. At any given time, there may be a polar bear in or around the settlement. That is also the reason we as a group always stay together. When the old council house was remodeled to be the canteen or the main kitchen, the style is the same almost in all the Soviet Union.
This place is amazing. It's spooky because you're walking around and you're seeing this entire town is falling to pieces, but I think the most moving thing is that we are being shown around by somebody who was here, who lived here, who watched it in its glory days, and is still here even after he's waved off the last few people in that boat. And there's something really moving about that. He's got these little stories about what they used to do to try and get away from the rules, and like typical, the girls weren't allowed to have the boys round after 10 p.m, but they'd get the matron drunk and then they'd have free reign. And it's really sad to see a community that was obviously once loved. There was hardships that they went through because you can see the things that they made and created to distract from the harsh conditions, and I think they were successful in doing so. But it's sad to see that all that work and time and effort to build these amazing structures and to make a cultural place, to make a kitchen, a swimming pool, an area for your children, a garden because you missed non-Arctic environments, all of that just accumulates into this town that, because of one political agenda change, is no longer needed, and everyone just leaves and it's just left here to be here and to fall down eventually. And it's really, really strange and surreal to see that. Very, very, I don't know how to explain it, but it's quite the experience.
all the money that you spend here stays on the island. That money we use to buy spare parts for the machinery, to buy the diesel fuel, to buy the interior in the restaurant, in the bar. So no money is sent here back to the mainland. All the money stays here.
Think we'll see any whales today? It's the big moment, Paloma. Will we see a polar bear in the glacier? It's so quiet in anticipation.